I showed up, man, and I was just like overwhelmed with watching the guys being able to move like that. I'm like, man, these were the videos that I used to watch, you know, like these guys are doing like power moves and stuff that I thought were beyond me.
Now, do you remember what the scene was, like what the Midwest scene was like when you came in? Well, first off, what year is this when you come into like more of the competitive aspect?
So our first battle was in 2006, and it was a small local battle in Benton Harbor, Michigan, which is like a really, really little town. So Grand Rapids scene has always been pretty small from like the early 90s to right when we started around like 2004, 2005. The scene was kind of non-existent. There were a few dancers that would be here and there. There were like the Crescent City Breakers, the Grand Rapids City Breakers and stuff like that. But not many crews that would actually go and travel anywhere. Or actually like really contributed to the scene or anything like that. So I kind of came in right at the tail end of some of like the big jams. There was like a jam in Lansing that was called On Deadly Ground.
And I know Free was in it, Singer, but it's like 95 degrees in here, and y'all still in here holding us down. So give a big round of applause for yourselves. And a big round of applause for the action you are about to see right now.
That used to happen that had battles like Evil versus DVS, like Chicago versus New York. It had like some Beatwax, like Beatwax came out to it. That brought a lot of people out, but that was like right before my time. And then same thing with like Scribble Jam.
We got Annie's back in 2001, and we regrouped, and it went off really swell. We didn't have that many problems with organization. You know, we kind of had it all together, and it went really well.
Scribble Jam was like right before my time, man. Like the last one was in like 03 or something. So I missed like some of the really big iconic jams that happened in Michigan. But in like 2006, the scene was heavily influenced by collegiate breakers. So like two of them had a really big club called Element One.
Say goes, I determined the winner. That's right. Represent this morning. Oh, so soldier-like.
And so they were throwing a lot of big jams. And then you had crews like Hardcore Detroit. They were still throwing big jams. Motor City Rockers, so like over there in Detroit and stuff like that. Those two crews were still throwing big events. But so that's where we got a lot of our, you know, first exposure to the scene was at some of these college events, because those were the ones that had the funds to bring like big name judges. So like there was a jam called Master the Art.
She listened to what the MC said. She might as well plug the RCA chords into her head. Taking that into consideration at the center of creation. Cats still criticize my frustration raps. Off he goes, man, cop some flows. Cross your toes in hopes that I don't climb you like an obstacle. Mission impossible, fishing in the kitchen sink. Y'all will fall for anything, so what you think this kid'll bring? Poker face, let me hold my place. The namesake is Slug. With you can call me Stroker Ace. Open invitation to catch today's extrapolation all across the front of your pretty little apron. This goes to those that want a mouthful of Sean's load. Thanks for starting now, you're barking down the wrong road. Sacrifice plays a part in grabbing mics from now until the afterlife. I'll continue passion like a...
And that's one of like Michigan's longest running collegiate jams. I think they've had it like 13 or 14 years now. And like the first one that I went to had like Poe One, Dizzy, and somebody, I forgot who the third judge was. But like the next year they brought like Alien S, and like, so they always had like bigger name, higher level judges. So those were, and DJs. So those were always the jams that we were like, all right, these are the ones that we're going to train for. And then, you know, Detroit had different, you know, like international or like national and international events come through there. They had like a Mighty Four. They've had like a couple different Mighty Fours, you know, and they've had a couple different, like around that time, I'm trying to think of any of the other bigger jams that happened in Detroit, but it was a lot of Ann Arbor, man. It was a lot of Ann Arbor, a lot of that collegiate scene, right there from like 2006 to like 2010, because it was kind of like, that was just like the big pop time, right, of breaking, like So You Think You Can Dance and ABDC and all those other shows were like getting really big right around that time. So everybody was like, I'm gonna give breaking a try, you know, like I'm gonna go for it. And so like, you know, there was a lot of dancers in college scenes there, and those were like the biggest jams, and those are also the ones that brought out a lot of the other scenes. So being a Michigan head, it was a lot of watching Chicago come and win, or it was a lot of watching like Ohio or you know, like some of like the Zulu cats or like the Ready to Rock cats, they would come out and they would do a lot of damage in battles all the time. And then sometimes we'd get crews like Supernats in Toronto and stuff like that. Some of Canada would hop the border, come over to Detroit and Ann Arbor and catch wreck in the jams. It just wasn't, Michigan didn't have a lot of powerhouses to be able to compete with a lot of those crews as I was coming up. Yeah, man. So for breaking, I would definitely say the Grand Rapids City Breakers. They were like the #1 kind of squad. There was a dude named Cooley C who brought a lot of info around, and
For more quality content from Beyond the Cypher with Illskillz, don't forget to press the like and subscribe buttons. Also, feel free to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Beyond the Cypher. Let us know how we're doing in the comment section. And to make sure you don't miss anything from the channel, smash that notification bell. We appreciate the love and support. Peace. Until the next episode.